Hello there, I'm Terry,
And I'm Lyndsy.
and we're here to tell you about the dive site of Tepekong, which is a very small island off of the east coast of Bali.
Off of Padangbai.
Out of Padangbai, yeah, Padangbai. Get that right eventually. Okay, go then, Lyndsy. What were you going to say about this dive?
So this dive has a swim through called Blue Hole. I feel like so many swim throughs are called Blue Hole, but you start at about 15 meters, and it's kind of like square or triangle-ish, and then you drop down to 20 and come out, and so that's kind of fun. It's a longer swim through.
It opens up when you're inside.
Yeah, so it starts kind of narrow, and then it gets much bigger, like a cornucopia or something. Now the swim through itself, it isn't terribly exciting. There's not a lot of, like, there's your normal, like, little kind of cavern fish hanging out, the ones with the big...
The red soldier fish.
Yes.
They're really, there's a shoal of them in there, and they're really cool.
They're always there. They've always been when we've gone through. And it's just really pretty. And if you're into photography, you know, being able to take a picture of someone from either end, where you have, if you're at the bigger area where it's deeper, you'll have the cavern and then maybe a little tiny bit of blue behind, which is the opening. Or from the opposite end, it looks really cool because it's kind of like a frame. So it'll be like all black, and then that big blue spot where the other diver could be. So I think it would be a good place for photography.
Yeah.
Of your dive buddies.
The exit, the deeper part, the exit, is definitely a lot bigger than the entrance. The entrance, you do need a little bit of buoyancy control to get through.
Especially because you'll be kind of dropping down, and so you'll probably have to equalize.
It's not super tight,
through.
but it's tight. Mm-hmm. You have to have a little bit of buoyancy control to get through there.
Yeah.
So that's one of the highlights of this site. And you kind of go up and then back up around, obviously, because you're quite deep when you go down.
Yeah.
And we've always done this as a third dive of the day, and so we come out and head back around.
And over the top of it, there's going to be scorpion fish, some cool nudies. It's actually pretty if you just kind of go slow and look around and see what's there. There's some anemones with lots of little clownfish or false clownfish. That's lovely.
Yeah. And so the bottom, even though it is sloping, it wouldn't be classed as a slope. It's a gradual slope, and it has lots and lots of bommies on it, with lots of fish life. And so you'd go around. So I guess you'd do the blue hole. You'd tour around the bommies and what you're trying to do is get to which end of the island would it be? The side of the island closest to Padangbai. Because there's some big boulders there where they've got sharks, white-tip reef sharks underneath, and you're trying to make your way towards them. Well, you can do this
depending on how you do the dive.
Yeah,
but as you're kind of making your way there, we've seen lots of small white tips kind of hiding under rocks and ledges. So be sure to look around because there'll be octopus as well hiding also. If you're lucky, maybe hunting. But it is a really good site, and there are a few moments like where we'll turn a bend and we'll kind of be going through like bommies, and it won't be like super crazy like looking. It'll have some fish, but then you'll turn and they'll just be like stunning coral, like a little patch of just like really beautiful coral. That'll go on for like 15 or 20 meters, and it'll be really pretty.
Yeah, you don't have to go super deep on this site.
No.
I mean, 20 meters max. Like I say, we do it as a third dive of the day. The sharks in the under the rocks are really cool.
Yeah.
It gets a little bit currenty around that area as well.
And it's a little bit tight actually, so you want to be sure that you're being really careful too, because this is another great place for your scorpion fish.
It's got scorpion fish and lots of rocks that bite, as in you scrape up against them and you'll get
just
cut.
Focus on your buoyancy and paying attention. It's easy to get distracted when you're looking at the sharks. It's like, oh my goodness, there's a shark underneath there. But you have to make sure you're like, okay, but I'm not gonna or like touch a scorpion fish as I'm looking at the shark.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hit anything. So just kind of check your area.
It's one of these ducking under, and be careful because depending on how the surge is going, you can get sucked into the cave where the sharks are.
Yes.
Which you don't want to get trapped under these boulders.
But I think something that you can easily miss too is, so like you're kind of going through and it's kind of like a little channel, like a little hallway, right? So you've got like a big rock formation here, and then the sharks are down under this one. But then at the very end, there is another like kind of cavern-esque area where it's kind of like 3 or 4 big boulders kind of touch, and then there's some openings, and there'll be some really big fish in there.
So yeah, so you get big moon surgeonfish. I mean, they're a fair size, and they're ducking in there, getting out the way of the currents. You also get baby sharks underneath that area as well. It's another really cool dive site. The only tragic thing about this dive site is we've been there a number of times, and the currents have brought in a load of litter on the surface.
Yes. But we haven't seen a lot of litter below the surface. It's more like when you're going into the dive and you're like, oh, this is not
There's
lovely.
lots of packets of detergent and stuff like that. It's really quite nasty there.
But it is what it is. But once you get down, it's quite lovely. And there's always that hope with green policies and other developments on Bali that type of situation will be taken care of.
It'll get better. But the site itself is not ruined by litter at all. It's just on the surface. And it just must blow in from that. I'm not sure where it blows in from. Maybe Nusa Penida. But
Nusa Penida always blames Bali for their litter problems. I don't know. But it's there. But it's just on the surface usually. And if you're a great person, you could collect some of it. So there'll be a little bit less for the next diver, hopefully, depending on how much trash people are throwing out. But I don't want that to detract from just the loveliness of this dive, because it is really, really lovely.
And it's probably one of the, apart from the swim through, it's probably one of the easier out of the 3 islands, which are Mimpang, Bihar, and Tepekong. Tepekong is probably the easier one to do.
It definitely is. And if you're not comfortable with the swim through, if you just let your guide know, then you'll be able to see plenty of things as you kind of wait for the group to go through. And you could actually go just over the top of the swim through as the group goes through. And meet everyone
at the other side.
Yeah, and then you'll get to play in the bubbles that come up, which is always a little bit fun too.
Yeah. So that's Tepekong. That's Tepekong. Please enjoy the video.
Bye.
Bye. Out.
Terry and Lyndsy, so welcome to Gili Tepekong.